Hey, yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back. I am on Erlenberg in my M4190 GF Tier 8 German Premium Light Tank. This is a great tank. There's also the M4190 not GF version, which you can paint, but this is the old Grand Finals version. I elected to keep the paint on it when they allowed you to switch them over. Does that make it more unique? I don't know. Let's talk about unique games, though. Let's talk about games where you notice a situation and you figure you're pretty much the only guy who's going to hold a flank. And how do you recognize that? How do you know when it's time to run away, all that kind of good stuff? So on Erlenberg, we are on defense, and I'm headed over to the west side. And I'm going for this island that's across the water. So let's get going. We'll talk about it. This is an interesting map. It has been reworked in the recent past. Battle over here used to be really interesting. I find it to be very stagnated now. The whole map, except for the middle, is very stagnated. One thing you can do with a light tank from the side I spawned on, it's very much more difficult to do it from the other side, but it can be done, is come over here and see what they're sending up into the castle. And quite often they don't send much anymore, but this team for some reason did, and I was able to spot them from here. I don't shoot so that I can avoid getting blasted. If I shot right there, I would not last very long. Look at all those guns. Potentially a TD behind them as well, or maybe some other camping mediums or even heavies. And the 112 is actually doing a pretty good job coming in here. He's going to cross eventually. Yeah, he's going to get down there. And he is going to the position that counters my position, but he doesn't have great spotting, so he's going to have a bit of trouble with that. Okay, so I've seen this. I've got a leopard that pushed in. I've got a Udes in the back and me, and that's it. This entire flank. The plan was when I got here that I would take a look, and if there wasn't much going on, I'd bail out and go find something else. If there was something going on, then I would hope to have some snipers back there to take some shots, or even some guys heavier than the leopard that get up into the castle and are able to take shots, but it was just us. So the further plan now being that if I get pushed too hard, I'm getting out of here if I can. But for the moment, they seem content to kind of sit back there. And now I'm going to see if I can get some free shots. I'm going to try the old 15 meters double bush trick. Actually, in that case, it would have been just 15 meters. The Conqueror is probably the wrong guy to be shooting right there. He's about the heaviest armored guy I've got. Especially the turret. I'm not going through that. Shooting heat at it is not going to work very well either. So now I've got a pretty good crowd sitting in the middle, the Suma and some other things. My team has a pretty good crowd in the middle, and we're really light on both flanks. So this battle seems to be hinging here, and I've got, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 of their tanks are all over here. And for the moment, the Udes and the object are really keeping them honest here. No, I'm not spotting the E50 and the T26. They've gone into the middle. The 100-01 is over to the middle. When I mean middle is the middle of the castle, not the middle of the map. And the artillery is firing in there. So as long as I'm getting some spotting damage, I'm up to 1100. And keeping this guy, so let's see if I can get into the side of his turret here. No, backs off. A couple times early on in here, I'm going to hold my shots. And that was never going to go through. I fired that heat shell right into a highly angled piece of track. Just a really terrible shot. It did track him. I was sort of hoping maybe someone would get a shot, but I think he's back slope enough that the Udes really doesn't have a good shot. Maybe had I waited a little longer, but I'm running into the danger of him getting close enough to me to proxy light me. So 50 meters, I do not want him to do that. They know I'm here. I've been spotted, so it's no surprise, or at least that's where I was last. I try to get into his side here, and unfortunately end up with another no damage, and that gets me spotted. Now, this is a dangerous part right here. If the red team had any kind of brains, these guys would have all come around this corner, looked for me, and tried to kill me off, or maybe even push a guy up and over. If they're counting noses, they had to know that there probably wasn't much going on over here. Yes, they do have to push into some TDs, and because people are the way they are, and they hate pushing in and losing hit points in general, I'm going to be able to and allowed to sit here and really be a problem and a thorn for these guys. One other situation I have is those guys pushing into the middle, potentially if I get spotted, getting shots across on me. So I really want to try to make these guys go away if I can. There's a bounce. Heat's probably not my best plan right here. Driving up on the side of the wall. There we go. Let's get a shot into the 112. Super Burgeon concerned me. I thought for sure he was going to actually see me. So now I push up into the trees here, even though the 112's there, so that I can cover up against these guys that are crossing. They don't have great view range, but it is possible, especially with the one medium there, that they might see me. So this was probably the hairiest part of the battle right here, as I'm thinking, crud. I'm about to get sandwiched. And it is one of the weaknesses of this position, especially if you start losing the sides like we're losing. The sides of the middle where the BK and the Type are. And again, had they been any kind of aggressive, they probably could have peeled me out of here and given themselves a much better opportunity to advance. I finally get a decently aimed shot in there. Got me spotted, so I'm going to back down low enough that the terrain is covering me up. Let's try to get a shot on this guy. Double tap, down he goes. I even got the spotting damage on that. I'm not really sure how, but there you go. Game didn't think he was spotted by anyone else, unless we both, well, maybe a couple of us shared it. I don't know. Somebody tell me what the rules are. I can't. Now I'm just trying to really snipe pixels right here. I'd love to get rid of the 112. If I can get rid of him, then I've got some freedom of movement. I've been here the whole game, and it's been okay. I mean, I've got 2,400, done 500 damage, been fairly instrumental in keeping this flank from falling. There goes the 112 finally. He's probably really irritated. There's an E50 and a Pershing. The Conqueror is actually switched to over there, so I'm going to try to snipe a pixel or something on this guy. And it's really time for me to start thinking about going elsewhere. One of the biggest... There you go. Someone just clicked back there. Was that me? No, it was not me. I snipe a pixel on the E50. My concern is the 103-0. If I get spotted, wiping me out. But now we're starting to make this thing a comeback. There we go. And our positioning and our tanks are giving us a bit of an advantage. The Conqueror's a problem. There we go. I find the artillery. I'm going to back up till I goes. Does it go opaque or does it go not opaque? I can't remember. I have to look the word up. Basically, I'm looking at him through the cover. Vice looking directly at him. And that will give me the camo of the tree bush, whatever it is. The Pershing is there. I'm still concerned about the stir, but I do need to get in and start adding my gun to the game. But it's the collapse is on. The route is on. There goes the Conqueror. There goes the 252. There's the stir. He had actually moved up forward and was taking shots. I decided to take the Pershing out first. I make a bad decision right there and shoot at his turret. Didn't want to completely overcommit because I figured the 103 could spin and turn pretty easily. I was also fairly confident that I would be able to outduel the Pershing if someone else kills him. I get a shot into his track, and for a wonder, I actually track somebody. And I'll just keep on shooting into that front. Is that the drive wheel? I don't know if that's just... Yeah, it's got the spikes on it, so it must be the drive sprocket, right? And we'll just keep him tracking. He's actually shooting at somebody. Somebody must come right at him. And he gets rammed. A 40T ram. That's an ignoble demise, isn't it? Being rammed by a 40T? Jeez. It's a battle of the paper tanks. Well, that's about it. A good example of a weak flank and seeing an opportunity of being able to at least see what's going on, doing the scout thing, holding on for a while, and then as the battle developed, realizing that, all right, they're not going to peel me out of here. I'm going to be able to do quite a bit of damage over here on these guys. 2,900 spotted, 2,700 damage. Now, granted, about 1,000 of that came at the very end when it was over anyway. However much I farmed off the Pershing and the Lorraine. But before that, piling up a pretty good amount of spotting and assist damage and being able to keep 6 of their tanks relatively busy, although some of them did fade down to the middle where they were needed once they realized they didn't want to push along the 1-2 line. Which it doesn't take a lot of convincing to stop people from pushing the 1-2 line. I mean, if you show them that there's a TD or scout or something over there, they're usually not going to push across that open ground. So that will at least stop her to that one flank right there. And if there was anything I would say that I could have done better on that, in general, I would say that I needed to leave where I was earlier than I did. I sort of accepted sitting there sniping at people. Fortunately, a couple pixel shots went my way. The enemy did a couple dopey things that went my way. If I'd have flexed earlier, I probably could have created more opportunities earlier for my team, especially going up there and start digging out the Pershing and the Uds while the guys in the middle were looking for shots. All right, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Keep supporting the channel, and we will see you.